This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design. Kiwi is the leader in Oculus Quest and VR accessories. And now, you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast.
The Oculus Quest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever find things could be a bit more comfortable, maybe a little safer? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and so much more.
And let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. You don't want to be that guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes now to prepare yourself today.
And you don't need to sacrifice comfort for cost either. Kiwi is constantly running promotions of 20, 25, and even 30% off.
Just visit the link in our show notes and use the promo code on their website to take full advantage of your savings. And be sure to follow the link in our show notes so we get credit and you help support the podcast. And remember, Kiwi has you covered for all your VR needs. This podcast is brought to you today by Zencastr, the company we choose to use for our interviews.
I remember that first interview we had and the stress that we went through trying to find a platform that we were going to host this on.
That's where Zencastr came in. With HD video recording and studio sound quality, we were able to connect seamlessly with guests all over the world.
I love the fact that it's as easy as sending our guests a link, they click on it, and they're connected.
With automatic post-production, secured cloud backup, and automated transcripts, Zencastr is the perfect solution for any remote podcast. If you want to make remote podcasting easy,
make sure you go to zencastr.com/pricing and enter the promo code Ruff Talk VR, and you'll save 30% off your first 3 months.
That's zencastr.com/pricing, promo code Ruff Talk VR. It's your time to share your story. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're talking about a genre of a game that we have been dying for. It's a board game. Talking about a classic too, that's Catan.
Yeah, I'll say that any board game that ever drops in the Oculus Store, I'll probably end up picking up and playing. So
take my money.
I'm willing to give it a shot. Catan was not, and this is a classic board game, but before I start, and I can already see I'm excited to talk, so why don't you if you want to throw the rating who the developer is before we start describing anything about the game.
Yeah, I think the thing is we are both just so excited for a board game in VR. Anybody who's listened to past episodes has heard that's just what we want. So nonetheless, the game is Catan VR. It's a classic board game. It's made by developers and published by Experiment 7. It's rocking a 4-star overall on the official Oculus Quest Store with 306 total ratings and 179 written reviews.
Which is not bad.
No, not bad at all.
Nope. And it dropped in February of 2021.
Yep, and it was on some other VR platforms before. That's just when they ported it over to the Quest.
And it is cross-platform with a very limited amount, but not like you're going to see PlayStation players in there and such.
No, you're not going to cross-platform play with somebody who's flat screen on a desktop either.
Nope.
It's,
VR content only. Yeah. It's like three or four different things. But no, it's the classic board game Catan.
Which, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I think this is exactly what you were going to say before.
Yeah.
I didn't ever play Catan before I played in VR.
Nope. I'll tell you why. I never did.
Why is that?
Just the rules and understanding how to play. And this is actually what's really cool about this game. And
in VR.
In VR is like it does all the thinking of the rules for you. So if you're like me who never played it, I never knew it was an award-winning, one of the most popular board games ever.
Yeah.
So to actually how do I play this game? I mean, if this was my first time playing it and it was a real board and real dice and
I'd be so lost.
People are like, oh no, you just gotta build this, and I'd be like, I'm out.
I'd be like, why can't I build there?
I'm done.
Yeah.
So the fact that they took what is seemingly to me a somewhat complicated rule-based, even though maybe it's not, and I'm just a real idiot.
To me, it's more complex than the game of life.
Yeah, there's I guess somebody maybe would be in charge and be like, okay, this is what you get and this is what you don't get. But it seems like there's a lot going on in that department, and seems like a lot of room for error and possibly debate. So the fact that they've taken something complicated and done all the hard work for you so you can actually just learn to play the game is freaking amazing.
Yeah, and they give you a nice tutorial at the start of it where it's kind of like a video tutorial They just have you watch like what did you say, like 3-minute video?
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna finish the
good.
video and not understand how to play yet.
That's where I was going with it. It's a good video, but
you're probably not gonna fully understand. But you play one round with the AI, and by about halfway through the round, you're gonna just be like, "Oh damn, I wish I placed my settlements elsewhere." But now I understand what's going on.
Yeah, you just gotta. I'd call it a just kind of get into it and
start playing.
Yeah, and you don't have to ever have known. Again, I knew nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
When we started playing it, I that's obviously when I realized like, oh, this was a port over from an actual real game. So it's like I go into it totally fresh minded from the experience. So it I don't know.
I'll be honest too. I'm not really interested in playing this one like flat screen board game. I have enough understanding to now be able to do it, but needing to divvy up the resources every time you roll the dice.
I'd be embarrassed to play it. To be honest with you, because I actually, because of playing this, have then since branched out, and this is gonna sound so stupid, but I've watched videos of Catan tournaments,
mm-hmm.
and to see the real life play of it, and there's some really like, let's take it real serious type gaming going on out there.
Yeah,
and so I don't think I could waltz into any level of play like that and
have full comprehension.
No. Because even now, it's like I put so much trust in
the computer saying you can't place the settlement there.
Correct.
You get these resources,
especially from the start. Now it's
mm-hmm.
Sometime later, it's like at least now, if you put me in front of the board and I had to play with living people, I could probably hold my own, except for the resource dividing and such.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not sure how the real game is played. From a non-competitive tournament standpoint. So I don't understand if there's like a banker, like that's your
a
job.
Guy who runs it all. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I like having my hand held by the computer for this game.
1,000,000%.
I feel like maybe I wouldn't enjoy it as much actually.
And it made me think that there's a lot of different, like, Dungeons and Dragons, it's a pain in the ass to play in real life because
mm-hmm.
you need a dungeon master and all that. And, it's like to be able to see complicated things get condensed, then it just makes my eye open that more things should be happening similar to that.
Well, I think complexity and not understanding what's going on is what keeps people away from a lot of board games, not just, the example you referenced with yourself with Catan. So the fact that in VR, you're fully immersed, you're in it, you have the board right in front of you, and you have a built-in, I guess, rule master who's able to tell you, you can't do that, you can do that,
Yeah. It's huge.
It makes it a lot easier.
Especially when, and I'm thinking a huge fan base of people who buy this game are people who already knew how to play the board game.
Yeah, for us, it was just we're so desperate for a board game,
Yeah,
we take it. But no doubt, I have a feeling a lot of the fan base is
current Catan.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played it, this is kind of a tough one because it's a board game,
mm-hmm.
and they've got, this is where I'm going to fail miserably. They got different mounds of different resources. It's basically all scattered around with, I guess, what's the shape that it's like an octagon?
Yeah.
Octagon shaped board. And then they've got different roadways.
No, it's a real tough one to explain without if you haven't played it.
I'm telling you, I watched the 2-minute video and I knew nothing other than what they told me in the video. And then I was struggling. Like, I'm like, visually, if you've never seen this game, it's like, how would you describe this?
And
because they have a randomized board you can use, and then they have the traditional one. And it's like, I bet you there's 1 million people who go, oh no, I could draw out where everything is on a traditional board. I could draw a little picture of it right now.
Here, you know what I'll say? Okay. So the goal of the game is to get 10 victory points, right? You get victory points by building a settlement,
mm-hmm.
making a settlement a city, playing 3 cards that are known as night cards, or by building 5 roads in a continuous roads. So if you get 10 points, you win. So it's first player to 10.
It seems like getting to 10 would not be hard,
mm-hmm.
but
it's very hard. So that's just a very simple explanation. So you're going to build cities, build settlements, turn settlements into cities, build roads. Each one of these actions takes various different resources, and you get resources by your settlement will be placed somewhere on the board, and it'll be surrounded by 3 different resources that have a number on it.
Yeah, which all collates. You could be surrounded by like a 4, 8, and a 6.
Yep, and maybe on the 4 there's a sheep, and then the 8 has wood, and then there's brick on the 6. And then you roll a 4. Anybody who has a settlement on a 4 tile, like touching it, gets that resource. It sounds it's so tough to explain without playing.
It's hard to explain because to be able to take it verbally and put it to.
Well, geez, after like you said before, a 3-minute video and you didn't even understand it, let alone explaining it audibly.
I was there. I mean, I was literally like there, anxious and wanting to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, like you said, I mean, I can wicked dumb it down really. So the game will start. You pick how many people you're playing with, up to 4 players. We'll talk about the multiplayer, even though it is a multiplayer game.
You can play single player against AI, which I love because the AI is actually really good.
Really good for
learning. Yeah.
Fire up the AI, sit back, have no expectations of even thinking of winning the game from the first time you're going to play it, which I know, of course, I did. I'm like, oh, I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Take your beating. You're going to kind of grasp a little better, like, okay, you're going to start thinking now, like, honestly, the basic of where do I put my first settlement? Because each player, when the game starts, gets to put 1 settlement and 1 road.
Actually, 2 total.
Yeah, but it's one not at the same time.
Yeah.
So player 1 will do it, 2, 3, it comes to you. And the AI, the computer will tell you, like, these are your best spots you should put settlements, which I didn't listen to the first time I played it.
Yep.
And it'll glow them green. And it's kind of encouraging you, like, logically, you'd want to put a settlement there. So I would definitely listen to the
AI suggesting you spots.
And then it goes around the board again, and you're putting your second settlement in your road.
Mm-hmm. And there's 5 different resources, so you want to try to get
much as you can.
Yeah, you want to try to get, for the first 2 settlements, in my opinion, you want to try to get every resource.
Yeah, because you got the wood, you've got grain. Is it grain or straw? I think it's straw.
Yeah.
So you got grain, straw, sheep, stone, and brick, I believe, are all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get other cards that you can buy with those resources that you hopefully are lucky enough to get dice rolls for, because you're rolling 2 dice for them. So logically, if you're sitting next to a 2 space,
or a number 2, it's hard to roll a 2.
You're not going to
4.
You're not going to get that a lot.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see a big encouragement on the board of wanting to put a settlement surrounded by numbers that don't frequently come up. And this is where I think in like tournament play, people know statistics. Like, hey, the 6 comes up 72% of the time.
100%.
So, but there's a learning curve. If you don't know how to play it, there's a learning curve. If you do know how to play it from the board game, there's no learning curve at all. If anything, you're probably just going to be more chill about it because you're like, I can play my freaking Catan anytime I want.
Yeah, this is speedrunning Catan, probably in comparison to the board game. Because,
again,
keeping track of all that
anywhere.
Stuff.
Yeah, all the rules. You could be playing with a new player. So I see the value in the VR factor. But it is marketed as a multiplayer. So, if you have 3 or 4 friends. But
I'm not too much of a fan of the multiplayer, besides playing in private servers.
It's sad because it's sold as a multiplayer. It doesn't even say single player.
Yeah. It's tough. Well, I liked it. I like the single player mode, and to be honest, to be completely transparent, when we play private lobbies with just me and you, we have no issue.
None.
No
Not
issue.
A one.
But I do have some grievances if you don't have a friend and you're looking to go into a public lobby. I know this was bothering you a lot.
Oh, this bummed me out the first time it happened. So we're playing our game. We're deciding to let's make a public lobby. Let's try it with 4 living people. I mean, it was fun with the 2 of us and the 2 AI because they even give you like visual painting of the AI.
Yeah, and the AI is good.
AI doesn't play. AI is gangster mode from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. They'll cooperate with each other.
But so one of the guys, for whatever reason, we're playing with leaves, and when he left the game, I was expecting, all his roads and all that to go away.
Or an AI to take over.
Something. Because it's kind of important that you have the space to expand.
The board is very limited in size.
So nothing happens. It's just these pieces remain on the board. There's no turn to be had because the player doesn't exist. So when it just skips over them and goes to the next player. So I'm like, is that really a thing where You can just be playing and get up mid-game and leave, and all your pieces stay on the game, and so it's bizarre to me.
Yeah, because we didn't really emphasize it, but like there's rules to where you can place a settlement. It's not like, all right, you have enough resources to buy a settlement card, now you can place a settlement wherever.
No,
it has to like
every other road.
Well, it has to lead off your road for one, and then you can't place next to any other settlement. So like if your settlement's on one tile and then one tile over there's any other settlement, you can't. You have to have a full clean space on all sides.
Full every other all around you.
So some guy taking up a couple settlements and some roads is like a big chunk of the map that nobody can build anything near, you know?
No. So I was really bummed that it didn't have like a go away feature or an AI jumping in and being like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Instead, it just like the player leaves and your game's essentially ruined.
Yeah, especially because you wanted a 4-player match. Now it's down to 3 players.
And one of the things in this game that's important, no matter how strategic you play, at the end of the day, you're going to need to trade with the players around you for resources, because there's no way to get. You can't position yourself ever from the get-go to get every single resource. So you're relying on actually trading with the people you're trying to beat.
Because
and you take one out who now has hogged up a bunch of those resources. It just your game's over, and it's just not fair to. I will say it's not fair to my multiplayer experience to be playing a game that's not going to take 10 minutes to play.
No, it's a good, I would say, 40-minute play session.
Have somebody get in it 15, 20 minutes for whatever reason, life, internet, battery, who knows.
Things happen.
They drop off, and then you're screwed. So it's like, I would encourage a multiplayer fix to that.
I'll be honest with you. We tried to do the public lobbies, and after that nonsense, we just stuck with playing private lobbies with the AI, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because I really want to play it with
other people.
So I don't know if that's just like a glitch that currently exists, but it's something to me that if it went away, then I think my ability to replay it with living people would be a lot more than it is now, where I just don't want to deal with it. The risk factors, it's too much time wasted.
It's not like it's a 15-minute game. That's a lot to get involved with just to have somebody.
No, I killed my battery on this one
a couple times.
Yeah.
It's a fun game too, and like
strategic.
It's very strategic.
Very strategic.
It's a more complex board game, in my opinion, in comparison to like a classic family game like Clue.
Yeah, the learning curve. Yeah.
Once you figure it out, it's really easy.
It's actually not a lot of. It's one of those things that when you figure it out, you don't feel proud of yourself because you're
it's
like,
so simple.
Why did it seem so complicated? Because it's just something brand new. You've never, there's 2 dice involved. There's roads. There's resources. There's other players. People are trying to trade shit.
Yeah. Once you learn it, it's real simple.
Yeah.
But I imagine taking it out in the board game with all the pieces and everything like that. I can imagine somebody opening that and be like, "Ooh, I'm putting that right back into the cardboard."
I think I would have made it through the directions and would have been like, I'm not even taking the pieces out.
Yeah. But I think that this proves our point about board games, because this isn't even a board game we liked. This isn't even, I won't say that we liked. This isn't a board game that we prior played.
Ever.
And we're like, oh, let's get it for VR. We're just so freaking desperate for board games that we grab the first thing available. And guess what? Even that's enjoyable and fun. And we've spent hours, killed our batteries.
Something I've never played before, something I never thought I'd be playing. And, I mean, I still enjoy it.
Yeah. I'll say VR actually makes board games better, because you don't have all the issues.
There's not one board game that I can think of on the planet
that wouldn't benefit from being in VR.
That wouldn't,
Just think, you can't lose pieces. You can't, you're keeping track of the rules. Oh, that's not allowed. You cheat. There's no cheating. There's no setup. There's no takedown time. Like, there's no messes. There's no keeping track of any info, stats.
You're to an extent, you're almost more immersed too, because like in this game,
you are more immersed.
You're looking at the game and the table. And I mean, their level of detail in just a little tabletop game is crazy. They got little birds flying around and clouds, and
we didn't mention it, but you can change the background in the game, like the environment that you're playing in. Yep, your room environment. You can change the artwork on the wall, and you reference this a little bit. You can change your face mask too, and they have a lot of different cool ones. So it's like,
Yeah, I wish they had more face masks, but I'm just being cosmetic because I can't see my own mask.
no, but it's cool. It's funny seeing you change yours. I put on the dog, you know, and it's fucking so stupid.
Yeah, no, I wish there was, I just wish the multiplayer fix, and I'm sour about it.
Yeah, because it's a
'Cause it
board game.
shouldn't be
Board
that
games are
way.
about multiplayer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine playing a game with somebody in real life and they get up and leave and everyone's just cool with leaving everything on the board and being like, no, that'll work.
And I don't think I'm getting
Even though he's the only one that has the sheep, but
Right.
that'll work. You guys will figure it out. Not
If-
like you don't need the sheep, right?
if this is just a part of the rules and that's how it's supposed to be, our Catan trolls a thing. The people who just walk into Catan games and just place the best spots and then just leave.
Yeah, I'm out.
Build a couple roads.
You guys have fun with your 2s and 3s.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's about the only thing that I actually. And again, I mean, I don't know because I'm not a Catan player.
Yeah.
I came into this a newbie.
Yeah, just
I'm a
looking, just
Catan newbie.
fiending for any board game.
Be like, hey man, I'll try it. It's it seems fun enough, and it's from a real life game, so I respected that even more.
And did we mention the cost?
I don't think so.
It's $14.99, which I'll say proves my point. I think it was worth the money personally, and I would say, I always have said it, I'd be willing to spend $10 to $20 on a board game in VR on the fly. Like, it could drop tomorrow. Monopoly for $19.99. Sold.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Sold. Game
Like,
of Life.
I would pay
$14.99. Sold tomorrow.
life. Someone has to do because there's so many little. I don't know. That was like one of the first board games that had like any 3D structure to it, other than that stupid game Mousetrap that I don't think anybody's ever played. They just set up and rigged it to go off.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't enjoy Mousetrap in VR too much, just because I don't like it Mousetrap that much either.
No.
But to be honest with you, maybe in VR it would suddenly make me enjoy Mousetrap. So how about that?
Here's a game.
I'd pay $5 for Mousetrap.
Everyone who knows me knows I hate the game Clue.
Yeah, you hate Clue.
Yeah, I freaking hate it. But anyways, I already know that if you were like, dude, Clue in VR is dropping next month, I'd be like, yeah, I'll get it.
And you know what?
Probably like it.
Yeah, exactly. You would probably like it more. So developers, man, board game owners, people who own these board game licenses, make these games in VR. It would be so freaking good.
It's a whole new market for.
You don't even need to sell me a collection of like 5 different board games for 30. No, sell me each individual one. Take my freaking money. Just make these freaking games.
Yeah.
It's like,
I haven't played any board like type game in VR that I haven't enjoyed.
yeah.
It's like it's a genre that I don't think you can really oversaturate.
No. And I think it's one thing to make up your own board game, but porting over these already existing, fun, popular
Pictionary.
Pictionary, that would be so freaking fun in VR with the oh my god. See, there's so I don't.
Let's get with the metaverse, people. We need these, we need these experiences.
Yeah, how do you expect families to incorporate into the metaverse if you don't have
You
board
need to
games?
provide family entertainment, and nothing says that like a good game of Monopoly.
Right?
Kids learn good money skills.
And not for nothing though, you do see these stories of like people playing distant with relatives, with their headsets, come on, that's board games. Why aren't these on the Quest Store?
Yeah.
It's not like an overwhelmingly like hardware heavy type thing. It's like most board games are on cell phones.
That's where you got to give Catan credit. I mean, they probably didn't do it because they were like, oh, nobody did it in VR. They think they did it because they really like freaking Catan.
Yeah.
So they took something that they liked, which was a game, and they brought it to VR and did it successfully.
And it even seems as if the AI, according to the Quest Store, the AI was worked in with the creator of Catan, Claus. I don't want to mess up his name, but I'm probably going to Tuber, I think is how you pronounce the last. I don't know.
He had something to do with the AI. I think the artwork.
Yeah, so it's clearly passionate people involved with it, with this port. And so props to the people in charge of the Catan title for staying up with the times and so quickly getting this onto the Quest.
Yeah, it's just incredible that it's an actual. I just had never heard of it. Usually, I've heard a lot of. I've heard of like,
Catan before.
Really?
Yeah. A couple people we know actually play it.
Okay. I could guess who.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's just weird because yeah, I know exactly who. I'm just happy I was able to take something that I didn't know about and enjoy it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and it's like you said, $14.99. It's like spot on for a board game.
I agree. I think that's the
Even
money
in
price.
the real world. You
Yeah.
know, you see $14.99 on a decent board game in real life. If people still play them, you're not gonna. I still look every time I go shopping. I'll look down the toy aisle at a game.
Yeah, so I'll say right, I love board games so much. I've been picking up.
You just never know, and there's so many out there.
Yeah.
Like literally, go to I won't mention any store names. I won't give anybody the satisfaction, I guess. But you go down that aisle and you look, and it's literally 40 feet of what I look at now is that could be in VR, that could be in VR, and that could be in VR.
And yet, this is the only big title for board games on.
Yeah.
The
From
Quest
the
Store.
sounds of it, it doesn't sound like these guys would be on board with doing doing a traditional board game that like we would selfishly be like, hey, commission you to make this game. It seems that their love and passion is really Catan.
Yeah.
Catan and I think chess.
I think that was their other previous game, but this is their only game on the Quest Store is Catan.
Yeah. So the gameplay, I would say complicated to learn, but easier to understand once you play it.
I'll honestly say one game playthrough you'll understand.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you'll understand real quick is if anybody on the board rolls a 7.
Oh, we didn't mention that.
Bad shit happens.
Yeah, if you have if you have 7 or more cards and somebody rolls a 7, everybody who has 7 or more cards has to discard half their cards.
Yep.
Round it up to the next highest card.
And you can move if you don't have to give up a card. A lot of times too, you can move the robber. You'll get a little robber guy to put on the board. This is what confuses me about the real game rules when shit like that's going into play. Like, okay, I'm taking the robber and I'm putting him over here. Then I get one card from you. It's like,
how do I pick which card?
Yeah, it's like it's doing all again.
I like the
I'm a hack at the game. It's funny because I'm talking more from like I don't understand it as well, but like right now today I understand that whole concept a lot better. I'd be like, okay, if I put it here by this, I'd be able to choose which person.
But having that menu pop up that holds your hand,
no, and don't be scared to trade. It's like it's
you need to trade.
Necessary.
You're not going to win unless you trade.
And I'll tell you this: the AI will gang up on you, no problem, to ruin your strategy. So have a plan B and a plan C, because it seems like every time I get thinking of a strategy, the AI starts taking its little hits at me and making me change my strategy real quick.
There's nothing worse for me than when I'm winning that, getting the 2 victory points for having five or more continuous roads, and then somebody steals it from me and they start to get the lead, and then I start to chase them for it, but then they end up beating me on it, and it's like, oh, I wasted so much money on so much resources on roads.
Yeah.
That now I'm not getting the victory points for.
Get nothing for it.
You almost did that to me last night.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But I stole it back at the very brink of dawn.
Playing this game with you has made me see a different side of you.
Hey, one time I screwed you over pretty bad.
So I play with a different strategy now. If I see the points getting close and I see you're looking for certain something, I could have 8 of them. I ain't got it. I'm not trading shit.
What I like about Catan is like it's you have to work cooperatively but selfishly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to have a really good strategy. Be ready to change on the fly. And it sounds, your pieces don't move. You got roads and you got cottages, and somebody rolls a dice. Either you get resources or you don't.
There's nothing worse than placing your settlements bad, and five rolls go by.
Let me tell you, because this almost killed my whole experience with the game. It was like the 3rd time we played it. I had wicked bad settlement placing. I shit you not, and you're my witness. Like, I maybe got resources 2 or 3 times the whole game, right? If this was like a gambling thing, someone would have made billions off of the fact I got none of those numbers. It felt like this was so bad. I was like, oh, what can I, because I had plenty of time to think. I had nothing to do other than roll my dice, get nothing.
Maybe try to trade, but you got nothing to trade.
Yeah, try to trade the nothing I got. It was like, so here's what I came up with. If you're doing bad in the game, it's going to be like what it must feel like to play Monopoly with a whole group of people and know after the first time you roll the dice, you lost the game. So you get to sit there for an hour knowing that no chance ever where I didn't get up and quit. So to my happiness, I could have been a douche about it and just Fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, and then left us with your messy resources.
Yeah, that
Messy
in the long run wouldn't have freaking mattered because literally I sat there the whole game for an hour, almost killed my battery, and did nothing. I was so angry, dude. And then I started questioning. I'm like, well, did I pick any of the computer chosen settlements to place, or did I do this on my own? And
I think one of your settlements was on the shore, so you were only touching 2 squares.
Yeah, I totally did not listen to the advice of the computer, which proves to me
the benefit of playing.
Yes, dude. Like, I would be one of those players that would probably play this game, and the other people would be looking at each other like, well, he must be really good because he's doing some shit that I ain't never seen anybody do.
No, again, it proves having the AI hold your hand is the best for board games that you don't understand.
But
yes.
Fix the multiplayer, and then I'm a pretty happy guy because then we'd get to experience it like I'd like to experience it.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody has a life issue, an emergency, that it doesn't jeopardize the whole game because of it.
Yeah, because somebody leaving 10 minutes into the game is like game ruining, round ruining, I'll say.
But if you play single player with the AI, you don't have to worry about that because you can save your game. You just can't save
multiplayer game. No.
Yep.
And, you play private lobby with your friends, you don't really have to worry about that issue. Unless somebody does have a life emergency, then it proves it. But
yeah, or at least a button to say, life emergency, delete my piece, some shit. Yeah. I can't think it would be hard to say, okay, this player has left, take everything off the board. I don't know. I just don't see how it hurts because it really landlocked that game.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Especially
having fun.
Yeah. No, I hope that we do see more board games in VR. We have a lot of rhythm games on the Quest Store. We have a lot of shooters, a lot of zombie games.
No, this is the year for it.
I hope.
Brand new year, 2022.
Let's go. And again, you don't need to bundle them. I don't need some game that has every single board game ever. Sell me each one individually. I'm happy.
Listen, I'll do the pitch for you. Ready? Millions of Oculuses were sold during the holidays. There's a whole new demographic of young kids who are now getting Oculuses that we all know to be true. Let's even say it's 30%. It doesn't freaking matter. It's going to be like 1 million kids. They need good family, wholesome e-entertainment, not necessarily, NC-17, go rip heads off of shit. And
which I love those games too, but I just want some freaking board games.
Not all families are also the perfect, Wonder Bread family of a family of 4 who all live together. Some of them have situations where they're separated, go figure. In today's day and age, we'd have separated families. My goodness. But it happens. So you might even have siblings who, one's with one parent, one's with the other, just because,
that's life now.
That's just life. That's the way it is. And it's, this is a great way to get some of that family unit time back in a world that seems encompassed with the, look at your cell phone. At least this puts you in front of somebody if you choose. That's just one of the things I'm kind of liking about the whole board game thing. Is because they're usually all e-entertainment. They're not rated, 13, 14, nothing.
It seems so obvious that it's almost frustrating it doesn't exist. It's like, it's guaranteed money for whoever makes them. Guaranteed money.
You would hope, but I think there's more money in ripping heads off of shit.
Probably.
Than there is in,
But here's the thing. The funny thing about board games, it's not like a genre that our brain goes, $5.99. Same. Me and you had the same exact impression. $14.99. That's like the hit the nail on the head price for a board game.
Perfect. That's the gold standard for board games for me. But I agree with you.
But that's not a cheap price on the Quest Store.
I'd pay $20. Yeah. No problem. And
Well,
at the end of the day, for what this offered, I would have paid more.
No, I definitely got $15 worth of playtime out of it.
And
Absolutely.
You see this game is constantly on the store. You can't really go on the store and not see it in some which way or form. It's there. It just, I think graphically when people see it's like, I never heard of it. I'm not interested. What's the point? Or, well, dude, I fucking loved Catan. I used to play it for years. I was a Catan champ. I was in my high school Catan, club. I never knew the popularity of it. So I'm glad I got to experience it. So now if I ever run into anybody in my whole life that's like, oh yeah, I used to play Catan, I'd be like, yeah, I know that game.
Yep. I can at least somewhat navigate around with you.
If you tell me what to do, I can. Yeah. I'll put down the little cottages and roses. And
you be my AI, okay?
And I need a cheat sheet so I know what resource. That's the other thing that amazes me. I mean, they do give you one visually for you to see. Like you need wood and brick to make a road. So if you have one wood and one brick, you can make one section of road. If you have two, you can make two sections if you want. But they give you the ability to make that sheet disappear on your little desk you're sitting in front of. And I was like, why would they do that? I'm like, oh, because there's a lot of players who don't
like,
freaking need it.
Yeah, and they're like, it's just taking away from the interface.
You're like, dude, how do you not know that? You know, but there's literally like 5 different things you can do.
Yeah, how do you not know that, what is it, 3 stone and 2 grass are a city, or is it vice versa?
Yeah, so as you improve, you'll probably be one of those people who will click over and hit the little plus sign on the desk and go, I don't need that damn thing. This graphic is useless to me, where I love it.
But definitely just solidifies every belief I had about board games in VR. Just solidifies it.
They work.
But
they work well.
All right, you want to get into our final thoughts and review?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, real quick before we do that, let me bother the listeners real quick and say, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe, rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, whether that's...
It helps.
It helps so much. Even just the subscribing, people don't get it.
Algorithms involved here, folks.
Oh, yeah, the little...
Forces above my knowledge.
Yes, the magical algorithms.
It's true.
So whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Castro, Podcast Addict, Overcast, whatever the hell you listen on, go subscribe there. Also, go join our official subreddit at reddit.com/r/Ruff Talk VR. I also had somebody inform me that I could also tell people that's just rufftalkvr.reddit.com. That might be an easier way to find it as well.
Yeah, other countries apparently you take for granted that's using / involves hitting keys that we don't have to selfishly in America.
Yeah, my selfish American mind, I think the whole world, /
I think it was F6 or something they have to hit before being able to do it.
So if it's easier for you, you can just type in rufftalkvr.reddit.com. There you can join an ever-growing community of subreddit members. We're at like 130 something right now. There's also a link there to go join our official Discord server, which we just launched the other week. So that's growing nice and fast too. So
we are now on every social platform that I can think of.
Oh yeah. So go join those. Subscribe. If you're gonna go pick up some accessories for your headset, do it with our Kiwi affiliate link. That way we get some love in that regard too. And other than that, keep listening. All right, let's get into our final thoughts. So we got 4 categories: gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, and replayability, each with a rating of 1 to 25. The total score adding up to the final score. So I'll start with gameplay. Clean 25. For a board game, they set out to do exactly what they set out to do. I can't really see what else I would want for them out of gameplay. It's got single player, great AI, beautiful different environments, masks, all that fun. Gameplay, clean 25. Aesthetics, I'll give them a 25 as well, just because graphics are great. They have the little birds flying above you, all immersive. That's above and beyond. For a board game, I can't see really what else you could expect for them for Catan. The artwork in the back on the paintings is beautiful. You can change it. All of them look good. The different environments are cool. I can't see what else you'd want out of the aesthetics. So just like the gameplay, I'll give it 25. Functionality. Ooh, here's the thing. It should be a 25 because there's no crash to desktops. Crash to desktop like we're on a computer. The game doesn't crash at all. It doesn't glitch really at all. The in-game mic, it sucks. We'll say what it is. But there's no actual glitches. Unfortunately, the player leaving the game and, leaving all of his freaking crap right there on the board, taking up the clutter, I got to hit him with a 20 for functionality instead of 25. Should be a 25, but that's a very game-breaking thing, and exactly what Stratus said earlier. It's a long game. So if somebody leaves halfway through, it's like, dude, you just wasted a whole battery span, a whole hour, just for somebody to mess it all up. So functionality, I got to give them a 20. Should be a 25, but it's a 20. And then replayability, I'm going to also give them a 20. I can't see what else that they could add besides, like a tournament mode or better built-in matchmaking to increase that replayability to 25. The score is kind of more of a reflection of the game of Catan. I don't think you're going to play it every single night. If you are that type of person that you like Catan, then this is probably going to be a 25 replayability for you. But for me personally, due to the limited matchmaking, you can't just like search through and find a room, find an opponent, anything like that. No tournaments. The kind of unfortunate functionality glitch before, I got to go, 20 in that regard as well instead of 25. So 25, 25, 20, 20. I'll give it a 90.
Well, fair enough.
It's a board game. They set out what they accomplished to do. It's hard to be selfish and ask for much more besides just, if somebody leaves the game, I want their stuff off the map. That's all. But other than that, no real complaints.
All right. Well, you're going to love my score then, because I gig them for that pretty heavy. Gameplay, I give them a 25. I never played the actual board game, but I'm under the assumption that they've ported it over, living true to form, and they've also given the ability to have a randomized map, which may or may not be part of the real game. I'm thinking not, unless it's like a custom board and all that shit. But so they get a 25. It's a freaking good game. Aesthetics, I'll give them a 25. I don't really know what more they could do to make the graphics better. You're going for kind of a real world environment anyway, so you're not on like a spaceship or anything. You're just in different rooms if you choose, and the artwork is pleasant enough that actually when I go into certain rooms, I make sure I've got my artwork that I want on the wall, even though I'm not necessarily staring at it the whole game. Functionality, I give them a 15. I really find that multiplayer experience to be somewhat ruining when you're advertising yourself as a multiplayer only game, even though there is single player type mode, but that's not with, it's just strictly computer opponents. That one stung because it really, 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 and whether that's part of the game or not, I wish it wasn't, because that just seems bizarre that I could go stumble into somebody's open lobby and then be like, haha, I've accomplished what I wanted to do. I've stolen all the good spots.
Catan trolls.
And then I quit. And for that, I get no, so fix it, please. And then replayability. Man, I want to give it a 25 because I really like playing it, but I'm of the stance now that I probably won't play it as much. I probably won't play it as much because I'm always going to have to play it with you, or I'm going to have to play it with AI until I know that whatever that issue was is gone. So replayability, I give it a 15. I own it. I'm happy I own it. I'm just not going to go running for it until I know that I can play with living people comfortably. So 25, 25, 15, and 15, they get an 80.
You know what's funny? I was going back and forth on the functionality of whether to dig them, like knock them down to 15 or, just to 20. So I don't blame you at all for that.
Yours is fair.
It's a game-breaking thing, and to be fair, it's just like remember when we reviewed chess and they had that horrible matchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It's like for something that should be a multiplayer experience, it's salt.
Or don't really let it be known that hey, this is the way you play, I guess, where you start a match and then go, I don't feel good about this, so I'm just going to leave, and the other players are screwed because of it. Maybe that's just the way it is.
Yeah, in which case, then I'm...
For my own personal experience, that's why they got the 15.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I get it 100%. I can't really disagree with you there, and man, I just think that this game proves that board games in VR work.
Yeah, we've said it way too much.
Way too much. I just hope somebody listens. Go freaking make Monopoly.
Make something. Make another game.
Although if you made Monopoly in VR, you need a save feature, because that will blow through a Quest battery.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
So keep that in mind. Who's ever working on? If somebody's working on Monopoly VR,
even Catan went through my battery.
Yeah, easily,
more than once. Mm-hmm. So it became, and I didn't think it would need to be a game that I would want my battery backup for. But it's not fast paced. You're not like, no, gotta get it done. No, it's like somebody rolls.
You look
everybody
at your
gets their resources.
You look at what you need. You ask
see what
trade.
Your options are. Do I want to buy anything? Do I want to meaning like, do I want to buy a road? Can I trade with people? I can trade with the bank on a 4-to-1 ratio, which we should have brought up, that you can do bank trading, but you literally need 4-to-1 unless you have an ocean side.
Yeah, in which case you can trade a specific piece or specific resource for 2-to-1.
2-to-1. So I mean, hopefully it just encourages more people to do it. I don't know if it will. I'm just hoping this is the year that we see more introduction of board games coming over and being re-enjoyed.
I just think for a genre that's basically untouched on the Quest Store and a genre that says $15 is a fair price point, there's some games struggle justifying $15 to like, 5, 10, whatever. board games without a question, $15 price tag. It should be very encouraging for developers to be hopping on, but I've rambled the same stuff a little too much, so we'll let you guys out of here this week. So so check us out Friday. We're reviewing Crazy Kung Fu. That's a freaking app lab game that will make you sweat.
Crazy's the word.
Crazy Kung Fu. Wacha! So, all right, check you out on Friday. Podcasting remotely can be a challenge. And when we first began interviewing developers, we ran into every headache imaginable.
From connection issues to video lag to sound quality performance, we knew there had to be a better platform we could use.
That's where Zencastr came in, allowing us to easily connect with guests all over the world. Zencastr is simple to use with no download needed. With studio quality sound, HD video recording, automatic post-production, automatic transcripts, and a cloud backup, Zencastr is the perfect solution for any remote podcast.
If you'd like to have the same easy experience that we did for all your podcasting and content needs, then make sure to go check out zencastr.com/pricing and enter the promo code Ruff Talk VR, and you'll save 30% off your first 3 months.
That's zencastr.com/pricing, promo code Ruff Talk VR. Zencastr, making your remote podcasting easy. Hey guys, Dscruffles here. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen to. And definitely don't forget to check out our official subreddit and join us there at r/RuffTalkVR. There you can join a community of other podcast fans, join us for some podcast meetup games, get first scoop on new episodes, interact with us a little bit directly, and more. As well, be sure to check out our official podcast supporter link, the Buy Me a Coffee link you can find right in our show notes, where you can donate to the podcast either one time, multiple times, become a monthly supporter. That way you can help us on our journey to make podcasting a full-time gig so we can continue to bring you more great podcasting content. As well, be sure to visit the Kiwi Design link in our show notes as well, where you can go and shop for different Oculus Quest 2 VR accessories, whether it's knuckle straps, lens protectors, face shields, whatever. Kiwi has you covered. So again, visit the Kiwi Design link in our show notes, help support the podcast, and pick yourself up some sweet Oculus Quest 2 gear.